Joining me today to discuss industrial cybersecurity is Dave Purdy. He's an OT security specialist with TXOne. Welcome, Dave.
Sid, good morning. Pleasure to see you again.
Same here. You know, for the viewers, industrial cybersecurity spans a wide range of products and that. Can you kind of give them some insight into where TXOne fits into that market?
Yeah, absolutely. Within the cybersecurity market, we are decidedly very focused on the OT side of this. We don't try to straddle the IT-OT side of that domain. We understand we need to coexist with it, but we are absolutely focused on operational technology in industrial settings in particular.
One thing I see a lot in my research is that companies still struggle to maintain their cybersecurity. I mean, they've invested a lot, but to keep it up and to maintain it. Is that something that you see, number one? And number two, what does TXOne, can you help them with that?
Yeah, we absolutely see organizations struggling with that. We think it's absolutely a problem. And I think the challenge kind of resides in two domains. One is acceptance of, and actually not acceptance, understanding of the threat landscape within an OT setting. And that's a journey, and there's a number of partners that are here that are expert in surfacing visibility so that the financial stakeholders and organizations understand that threat exists, so they need to make investments. The other, maybe more controversial answer to that question would be, I do think there's marketplace confusion about OT-specific solutions and IT-specific solutions that are being passed down into the OT layer. So I do think that oftentimes, and this has been cited in a number of the breakouts I sat in on the last 2 days, there is some continued confusion between the IT and the OT stakeholders, and the IT folks can't solve this problem in a vacuum, so we spend a lot of time trying to bring those two worlds together.
Speaking of IT-OT, I'm a big proponent as well of IT-OT cybersecurity convergence.
Yes.
Eventually, I mean, primarily in my case, it's more from the resource perspective is what I focus on. But how are you helping? Can you help companies make that transition? It's not an easy transition.
Yeah, we believe so. And I went back and watched last year's video, and I made a provocative claim to you that my conviction's actually grown this year. So we fundamentally believe that the IT stakeholders, once you get past this IT-OT divide, the IT stakeholders really do have to be the champions of monitoring these environments and surfacing threats. But on the OT side, we need to provide real-time preventative measures. Visibility, threat detection, threat response is not adequate. So in our worldview, there's OT native solutions that my company, TXOne, provides to customers, and the convergence comes in the form of relaying those threat activities and attacks up through the SIM SOC. Companies don't want to build an OT SOC and an IT SOC. So we don't believe they're converging in the sense of the technology stack. We think there's IT developed solutions that are great. They're focused on confidentiality. In the OT space, it's around human safety, the availability of the operation, the quality of the product, and then confidentiality. And those are two different design parameters. So they come together at the management layer. I don't think they come together from the software solution stack.
Do you have any key initiatives in the future that you have planned? I mean, that you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of this is a progression of current initiatives that will continue and accelerate. Number one, which we've seen a really dire need for, we talk about the dearth of skills just in cybersecurity, period. It's even more pronounced in the OT world. So one of the things we've invested a lot of research and development dollars into, and will continue to do so, currently we recognize over 215 industrial control system protocols. And because we have that deep level of understanding, and we know that the OT practitioners don't really have the time or wherewithal to sift through what we see in their industrial setting, we've developed AI/ML algorithms that will run in a monitoring mode for some period of time that the plant personnel are comfortable with. We don't want to introduce any policies that could disrupt the operation. We'll run this for some period of time, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months, depends on the client, and we'll come back and we'll surface policy recommendations that they can incrementally introduce into the environment so that we never take down the operation. So that's a key enabler for the OT practitioners to to introduce, policy enforcement without having to have all the skills out in these plants that vary based upon the different protocols running in those operations.
Oh, very interesting. I look forward to seeing that. Just a final question about, it's got to do with partnerships. I asked a lot of people about this because it's too complex of a world with cybersecurity to not try to go it alone or have one company. Well, there are many who tell me they solve all problems, but anyhow, what's your strategy for partnerships and how do you go through that?
Yeah, I absolutely won't tell you we can solve all the problems, and I absolutely recognize the value of partners. So we think about partners in two ways, and the second way has matured a lot since you and I first met. So we definitely see the need to have OT specialist channel professionals that can help give us leverage in the marketplace and convey our message. But more importantly, we have spent a lot of time certifying and onboarding the OT personnel that actually walk the floor, that work during Christmas shutdown, work during 4th of July shutdowns, and introduce our software and hardware solutions into environments, which can't be done when it's running. It has to be during a preventative maintenance window. So we've invested a lot since I last saw you in certifying and onboarding these partners. And they're experts. These are companies that have 10, 20, 30, 40 years of experience. Many of them are looking to extend their services portfolio into the cybersecurity realm of OT. So we think this market is here, and we think it's now, and we think people are beginning to recognize that OT native solutions are what's required.
Sounds very interesting to me. Dave, it's been great talking to you again.
Great seeing you again. I'll see you next year.
Okay. We've been speaking with Dave Purdy from TXOne. Thank you for watching.